welcome to 5 questions to ask yourself before going to the dog park. I'm Valerie Hill, holistic pet care provider, showing you how to restore harmony for yourself and your pets. The first question that I ask you to ask yourself is, do I have the energy to go to the dog park? As I'm sure you already know, animals are so in tune with our moods and our experiences. They're very aware and knowledgeable of how we are doing, and it affects them very greatly. So it's really important to make certain that you're in a clear, grounded space. Even if you have the most amazing dog, which I'm sure you all do, it's so important to just be very ready to mentor some of experiences that may come up, to not necessarily be on guard, but so many things could happen at the dog park. So we hope for the best experience, but it's crucial that first you recognize that you are in a clear space to be able to respond however is needed of you. So once that is identified, then I move on to question 2, asking ourselves, does my pet or pets have the energy to go to the dog park? Now this can really be answered in so many different ways as there's so many different pets. The biggest awareness is noticing if your animal is high energy. So ours is more emotional, but looking at our animals, are they calm enough to be able to experience all of the overstimulating triggers that are going to be present at the dog park? You never know. So it's really crucial to potentially ask yourself, can I take them for a walk before if they're a high energy dog? The flip side of that is just to be aware of canine nature in a pack. If your animal is maybe growing older or experiencing certain conditions, animals can sense that, and it's in their instinct that if an animal is, not surviving the fittest, that, for lack of a better word, it's euthanized in a pack when it develops some sort of abnormality. So you just want to be aware of all of this. So if your animal is dealing with some sort of healing experience, that just, again, doesn't mean you don't have to go, but to just be really aware that this is how animals are on their natural instinct. So it might be a better time to go in a morning hour, or when it's going to be a little bit calmer. And same potential too for a high energy dog. If there's less stimuli, there's going to be a better experience because the animal's not going to have as much difficulty. So once you've established that your energy is clear and your animal's energy is clear, now we have decided that we can go to the dog park. So step 3, we get to the dog park, and now we ask ourselves, does the energy of the park appear supportive? So I'll pull up and I'll scope and I'll see, are there dogs there? If there are, how are they playing with one another? Do any of them have toys that could potentially trigger my dog, or vice versa? Do I have toys that could trigger this dog? Just really dive into awareness to just taste in the energy of the park so that you can just be certain that you're not setting yourself up for failure. So again, now we have this established, yes, all systems go. Then you get your dog out of the car. We're either going to walk to the dog park, or the next question number 4, is my dog in tune with me now? So a lot of times they're so overstimulated, they're excited, especially if they've been there before, they know what to anticipate. So it's really important when the energy gets high to assist them ground. So I will typically take my dog for just a little walk away from the dog park, do a couple of stopping and sitting so that she could ground. And once she's doing it without issue, she's kind of calmed down, it's not so exciting from the car ride, now you have very supportive energy to move forward into the dog park. And typically how I like to do it is even at the gate, making sure they're in tune with you, sitting before you open that gate, and then walking in. And typically most of them will have like the double gates, just to make sure that it's super safe on exit and entry. And again, with going back to question number 3, also paying attention to, does anybody look like they're about to leave, because dog on dog confrontation, not in the dog park, could be a little bit stressful. We really want to make sure that we have a good feel for it all. And then last but not least, our question number 5 is my dog interacting well with other dogs, and vice versa? Now, as I said, it's our job to be mediators. If we're not mediating, if an altercation arises, then our dogs are going to take it into their own mouths. 2 out of 3 dog fights happen in a dog park, because we all take our dogs there thinking typically that they're great with other dogs. That's a really important thing, knowing your dog, that they've had play dates with other dogs and done great before. And speculation tells me that those 2 out of 3 dog fights that happened, the pet owner was like, my dogs never did this before. So we never know what to expect, even if our dogs are the very best. If you notice that a dog is trying to get on top of another dog, that's claiming dominance. Barking at the other dog, that's dominance. There's little things that could set your dog off that we might not even be fully conscious of, but we can be aware of dog body language, which we will address in another video more deeply, but just to really gain the repertoire so we can have that clear line of communication and being able to read the signs before anything unwanted happens. Also, too, knowing that if a dog is growling, we must nip that in the bud. Growling is a big no-no. The dogs are saying, I'm not ready for this, in a human way of understanding. So we need to separate the other dogs. And if your dog or another dog, has had this reaction, it's really encouraged that we just remove the dog. Just remove the dog that's showing resistance. Because the longer you wait, the more frustration is being gained, and we hope that they're going to settle down and be better. But if it's happened once, let's just make sure that we try again another day, maybe when there's less dogs, like I said. Most of the time, the dogs interact great and they're lovely. It's just so important to be aware of all of the potentialities. And I created these 5 questions to ask yourselves every single time before you go to the dog park, to ensure that harmony is maintained. I'm sure that any of these little bits that are put into order will really help in any way, and I welcome any feedback, and it has been a pleasure to share with you today.